Greetings, everybody. This is Yasser Rahotep. I am here at the YogaSkills Kemetic Yoga Studio in the historic Bronzeville area of Chicago on the south side. And I want to just take a few minutes to talk about Soul Yoga Fest. Soul Yoga Fest is coming up July 12th and 13th. That's Friday, July 12th and Saturday, July 13th, coming up in Chicago. And we're going to have a special guest with us whose name is Queen Afua. So I'm sure that most everybody knows who Queen Afua is. She is one of our most prominent healers and a leader in terms of healing our community and working with women on womb health, working with men on prostate health, and so on and so forth. And so we have decided to give her our annual award for service to our community. And so that's going to be July 12th at our studio, 4507 South Indiana, Chicago, Illinois, 60653. And so I'm going to put out more information. I've been putting out information. You can find it on Facebook and, maybe on Instagram and things like that. But what we're going to do is also have a free yoga festival. That means that on July 13th, Saturday, July 13th, we're going to have a wide variety of different yoga practitioners and healers. We're going to have vendors who have booths. Vendors, exhibitions on natural health and healing, workshops. So on that day, Queen Afua will do her master class on womb healing, womb yoga. On that day, Sister Kajara of Kemetic Reiki, she will be doing a workshop here with us. Sister Kalida Kali will be doing a workshop on aromatherapy, Kemetic dance. Maybe I should have said Kemetic or herbology. I think that's how she wants to say it now, not aromatherapy, but on herbology. Okay. Sister Darlene Blackburn will be doing a workshop on yoga, chair yoga for our seniors, or just gentle yoga for anybody. Brother Kamal Rashid will be here doing a workshop on capoeira. He is our resident capoeira instructor here at our studio. Teaches on Monday nights. Sister Kalita teaches here. She teaches our Kemetic dance class here on Wednesday nights. I teach here on Tuesdays and Thursdays, okay, along with other people. So we have a lot of stuff going on. And so for the awards dinner, we're going to have a lot of different activities going on. There's going to be libation. There's going to be African dance and drumming for your entertainment and inspiration. There is going to be singing. Very talented singer who is one of our instructors, who is in our instructor training course. Sister Alexis, she is going to give a performance of operatic singing, okay, which is phenomenal. Sister Kalita Kali, she's going to be performing her, with her company, Kemetic Dance. So we're going to have vegan meals, vegan food, so on and so forth. And we're going to also give awards to Queen Afua, Sister Kajara. Another one of our guests is going to be Brother Onk Aku, who is, we're going to also try to honor at this event if he's able to make it. What else? My daughter, Kia, she is a Kemetic, not a Kemetic, but she is a Ifa priestess, and she will be doing a workshop on Saturday also. So it's a lot of stuff going on. I can't keep it all in my head, but I just wanted to share this with you all at this point in time. I'm going to come back. We're going to have an interview with Queen Afua coming up. We're going to have interviews with other ones of our participants and people we're going to honor for our event. What else do you need to know? If you want to get tickets for anything, you want to buy a special ticket to attend Queen Afua's workshop, you call me, 773-396-6613. I give you instructions. All the other activities are free on Saturday, except for Queen Afua's workshop, because she's coming from a long way away, and so we're charging $35 for you to attend her workshop, okay? Which also brings to mind that if anybody wants to make a contribution to Soul Yoga Fest, because Soul Yoga Fest is a completely volunteer activity, so we don't get any funding or very little funding and support from the the different entities that's out here with the city and the state or the federal government. We recently got some connection with Mariano's, which is a chain of grocery stores. And so they have made some contributions to us. But everything that we do with Soul Yoga Fest is grassroots. So, we support ourselves. We put our own money into it. We do everything from the grassroots for the most part. Even though in the past years, we've gotten some support from the Chicago Department of Health, which has been very appreciated. But, the vast majority of the funding that goes into Soul Yoga Fest comes from people volunteering their services and people making, contributions, to make it happen out of their pocket. So, so that's what we're looking at. So I'm going to be back with some more information about Soul Yoga Fest. Also, what I wanted to mention is that Kemetic Yoga was born in Chicago, the same as Soul Yoga Fest. Now think about this. Soul Yoga Fest has gone on in Chicago for 14 years. Soul Yoga Fest is the biggest free yoga festival in the whole middle part of the country, okay? We are completely Black owned and operated, supported by Black people. And part of our mission is to restore our community, to contribute to the restoration of the health, the well-being, and the cultural and spiritual well-being and health of our community. So I don't know what of a greater task that we can have, other than contributing to this great mission of restoring ourselves mentally and spiritually, as well as physically, okay? So Chicago is the birthplace of Kemetic Yoga. Kemetic Yoga was created or reborn with the mission of helping to create a much more independent community that is based upon health, well-being, consciousness. It doesn't serve consciousness very much if you are unhealthy. It doesn't serve consciousness very much if you are consuming drugs or consuming alcohol or consuming bad food, if you're overweight, if your heart is congested, and so on and so forth, right? It doesn't serve consciousness that much if you are in that poor state of health and that poor state of well-being. So Kemetic yoga comes out of this desire to see an improvement of those areas in our community. And so for the past 50 years that I've been practicing and teaching Kemetic yoga, for a significant amount of that time, I have been developing the system. I have been doing my research to try to make sure that Kemetic yoga stays within the context of the intention of our ancestors, right? Kemetic yoga is a modern practice, right? Because we know we're living now, which is modern, right? We're not 6,000 years ago, we're living today. So we have taken those ancient principles and we have shaped them to our current needs and our current mindset. So we do movements and postures and breathing practices and so on and so forth, right? So we have to incorporate, our contemporary, points of view, our contemporary technologies and ways of doing things into the system. But the entire system is based upon ancient principles, is based upon the movements and the postures that we see embedded on the walls of the temples of ancient Kemet, right? The philosophy is based upon the ancient African spiritual philosophy that we see written on the walls of the temples of ancient Kemet. Okay? So Chicago is the birthplace of the rebirth of Kemetic yoga in the modern times, you know. So, of course, we've had to modify, of course, we've had to reinterpret and redefine, but the basic underlying principles of Kemetic yoga is consistent with the ideas and the concepts that our ancestors first gave the principles of yoga, meditation, health, wellness, and so on and so forth. We are working with an organic system. We are working with a system that deals with energy. We are working with a system that deals with understanding how to go into deep relaxation, how to go into deep states of trance, so to speak, where you are disassociating yourself from all of the trauma and the stressors that we encounter as we move through this particular time that we're living in, And so we do this in order to recharge ourselves, in order to revitalize ourselves. And so these principles, these practices, these ideas are embedded into Soul Yoga Fest. So the practitioners that you see, that you will encounter when you come to Soul Yoga Fest, are in tune to these concepts, whether you're talking about Kemetic yoga or Kemetic Reiki, whether you're talking about capoeira, whether you're talking about Tai Chi. We are keeping these systems of healing, nutrition, herbology, Kemetic dance. we are keeping that within the context of the Kemetic spiritual systems that we have come to know. Okay, so think about those things. Think about the fact that Kemetic yoga and Soul Yoga Fest has traveled all over the world. We've had Soul Yoga Fest in Las Vegas, Atlanta. We've had it in Kansas City 2 or 3 times in the last 2 or 3 years. We've had it in Jamaica, and we're planning on having it in other countries around the world like Ghana, Gambia, and so on and so forth. Also during this time, we have trained and certified over 13,000 instructors from Australia to New Zealand to South Africa to Brazil to Canada to England to France to all throughout the Caribbean and of course all throughout the United States and also all throughout Africa from the south to the north, from the north to the south, okay? And so these are things that we have to think about. These are things that we should take into consideration as you decide to support Soul Yoga Fest and the Kemetic Yoga movement. Also think about coming with us to travel to learn Kemetic yoga. We go to Jamaica twice per year for a experience of practicing yoga from morning to evening, drinking fresh coconut water, eating fresh papaya, and other fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and grains that exist in the tropical lands that we call the Caribbean, that we call Jamaica. And we practice yoga. And so that gives you the opportunity to hone your body, to move yourself physically from one state into another state, to move yourself mentally from one state into a higher state, to move yourself spiritually from one state into a higher state, right? So after those 10 days that you spend with us, for example, our next retreat is July 20th to the 29th, then you are going to experience some deep changes in your life. And you're going to experience some transitions because it is impossible for you to come to our experience in Jamaica to practice yoga, to practice meditation, to consume those highly electric and healing and transformative foods, to breathe the air, to go into the ocean and not experience some profound, deep change in the way that you think, the way that you feel, in your health status, and so on and so forth, right? And also in your ability to practice yoga, in your ability, in your understanding of what yoga really is, right? Because a lot of, people do yoga. They use the word yoga, but they're doing stretching mostly. They're doing gymnastics. They're moving around real fast in the poses that they're doing, the postures that they're doing. But oftentimes they're getting very little of the essence of what yoga is about: the energy, the breath, moving life force, cleansing the energy channels through which your life force moves. And that changes your consciousness and changes the way that you think and the way that you relate and move through the world. Okay? So at such a retreat that we do in Jamaica, you're going to have a transformative experience. The other piece of it is we also take tours to Kemet, to Egypt every year. In fact, we go twice per year. Those tours are not yoga retreats. Even though we practice yoga there, you know, as much as we can. And when I say practice yoga, I'm talking about the physical aspects of yoga, movements, postures, okay? But we are always practicing yoga because we are practicing the mental part of yoga. We are practicing the aspect of yoga that deals with learning about history, learning about the past, learning the spiritual meanings of the images that we see on the walls. What do these things mean? What are the messages behind the Badu nature, which is what people commonly call hieroglyphics? Okay, what are the messages of the images that we're seeing? What do they mean? Who are these entities? Who are these beings? Who are these representations of nature that we're looking at? And how does this operate? How does this way of thinking operate to help a person become a different person, to help a person become transformed, right? So we're looking at that, okay? And so you are examining and learning about that as you travel to Kemet with us from Cairo, where the great pyramids are located, where the Great Pyramid of Saqqara is located, where the Great Cairo Museum is located, and the new museum that I think is open now is located, okay? And other wonders of the world. As we go down to Luxor, and we go to the Temple of Luxor, we go to the Temple of Karnak, we go to the Valley of the Kings, we go to many places on our travels in Kemet. And we approach those places, we approach those experiences from a different perspective. The thing that separates what we're doing in our travels is that we are not tourists. We are not receiving the same information in the same way as the tourists are receiving it. We have, number one, you have myself and the other people who I might work with who are going to give you a different perspective than the common one that you get when you are exposed to just the standard tour. The tour guides that we work with in Kemet, they are not the standard people who are just going to tell you all of the fluffy type of information. We work with people who are very knowledgeable and very advanced in their understanding, and they're also African centered in the way that they present the information to you. Okay, and so we also have a good time in Kemet. We enjoy the food. We enjoy the traveling. We have a 3 or 4 day now cruise. We have dinner and dance and festivities with the Nubian people down in Aswan and so on and so forth. So it's just a tremendous experience, okay? And so we do that trip twice a year, once in August and once in November/December, actually December. No, actually November, /December. Okay. We also go to Ghana. We leave from Kemet and we go to Ghana. And during that trip, because we're still touring. We're going around Accra. We're going into Cape Coast in Elmina. We're going into Kumasi. And we're learning about the ancient and the traditional African practices and concepts and ideas, as well as visiting a whole lot of different sites. And we also have our trip that we take to Brazil. Okay, and so this year we're going to Brazil in the month of October, and it's called a mystical tour of Bahia. And so what we're doing is that we're going to take a guided tour of the area of Brazil called Bahia. And Bahia is the most African place in Brazil, where the vast majority of the people are direct descendants of Africans who came across the ocean, you know. And so Brazil is actually has the largest population of Black people outside of Africa, over 100 million Black people. And so one thing that we know about Brazil is that the language, the ways of speaking, the ways of dressing, the ways of eating, the ways of pronouncing words and dancing and celebrating and creating art is directly linked to what we see in Africa. So we know that there are people, that there were African or Black people in the Americas prior to the transatlantic slave trade. But we also know that many, many people came from Africa, and that these people make up the majority of the populations that we call the African populations of the Western Hemisphere, in my estimation. Okay, so we go to Brazil, and that is a tremendous trip. In the future, we're going to be doing more trips to Ethiopia, which I have been to several times. We're going to be doing more trips to South Africa, which I have been to several times. We're going to be doing trips to Nigeria, which is a place I have not actually been to, So I encourage you again, come to our website, KemeticYogaSkills.com. Give me a call, 773-396-6613. And, let's get together, come to Soul Yoga Fest, take a tour with us, and support the Kemetic Yoga movement. It is something that is outgrowth of our struggle for liberation. So thank you very much. And I'm going to say Hotep. Ujasanel, which means life, health, and prosperity.